Yeah, stay standing. Okay, at this point, as everyone is standing, let's please begin with the national anthem. Please be seated. Good morning to everyone. I'm Bob Curry, the board chair of KGI. I would like to welcome all of you to this, our 11th commencement. Out of respect for this momentous occasion, please also take time to silence your cell phones. I would now like to introduce Rabbi Daveen Litwin from the Office of Chaplains, who will deliver the invocation.
Thomas Edison once said, "If we all did what we are capable of, we would astound ourselves." This morning, we come together to celebrate what each of the men and women who are graduating today from the Keck Graduate Institute of Applied Life Sciences are capable of. We honor and celebrate our graduates for the individual richness of their talents, their accomplishments and aspirations, and the vitality and commitment with which they have enhanced KGI, the Claremont colleges, and beyond. We take a breath and pause and savor this moment. We are grateful to all who have helped our graduates to reach this time, the family and friends who have provided the warmth of friendship and love, and the students, faculty, staff, administrators, and trustees who have stimulated complex thought and conscious growth. We join together in hope and prayer that they be blessed on the next steps of their journey. O source of life, may the depth of study, insight, and connection kindled in these years at Keck Graduate Institute strengthen them with courage, confidence, and hope as they meet new challenges. In becoming all that they are capable of, may they astound themselves and all of us, and may the wisdom and compassion they have learned here help create a more just and peaceful world.
Here at the Keck Graduate Institute, we have a custom at graduation whereby the graduates thank their parents, family, and friends for helping them along the road through these last year or two. So would the graduates please rise? And graduates, would you please applaud your family and friends? Thank you. Shelley, would you please come to the podium?
Thank you, Chairman Curry. It is my great pleasure as well to welcome today's graduates of Keck Graduate Institute, the class of 2012, KGI's 11th graduating class. the new alumni who are initiating KGI's 15th anniversary year. I also extend special welcome to family, friends, and guests who come together today to celebrate this commencement. We are honored to be joined by members of KGI's Board of Trustees, Advisory Council, faculty, alumni, and staff. It is a special pleasure to introduce the founder and president emeritus of KGI, Hank Riggs, and his wife, Gail. It is also a very special opportunity to welcome all of those who are watching via video. And at last count, there were nearly 150 folks viewing from Mexico, the United Kingdom, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, India, and virtually all over the United States. To them, welcome as well. On behalf of the KGI community, I welcome all of you to KGI's campus. I'd like to begin by introducing our student commencement speaker from the MBS program, Claire Zhu, class of 2012. Claire graduated with honors from the University of California, Davis in 2010. She received a Bachelor of Science in Biotechnology and came to KGI to study the business of bioscience. Last summer, she interned at Percepta Associates and specialized in market intelligence. As a team master's project member, she performed product research and concept development for the TCAN group. In the fall, Claire will join the Los Angeles office of LEK Consulting as an associate. Claire, welcome.
Greetings, everyone, to the distinguished guests, friends, and families of Keck Graduate Institute, to everyone that lives to hold together our community. I would like to have a word with you about the class of 2012. These are our tales. These are our tales, the tales of how we arrived here, from a former home at the lab bench or an office desk, from academia or industry. Together we assembled and embarked on a journey to earn our professional degrees. And here we stand, celebrating the end of a journey while marking the beginning of a new one. For KGI designs degrees differently. The programs here provide an invitingly immersive experience founded upon community building and professional development. We all know the names by heart: PPC, PPM, MBS, and PhD. We remember their names because of their shared vision to harness the power and the potential of the life sciences for the benefit of society. No other degree programs on earth are built from the ground up with such focus. 2 years. It has been about 2 years on average, one for some, since we arrived and began to immerse ourselves in the KGI whirlwind curriculum and networking events. Do you remember? Do you remember orientation week, the initial projects, and the grim faces with which we hurtled headlong into the center of the earth? Dove into the core of the MBS program. With resolve, we faced and engaged frameworks, how to discover, develop, and distribute medical devices and drugs. Do you remember? Do you remember the Focus Track Fridays? The workshops, the seminars, and the frozen tundra that lurks within the founder's room. Do you remember the Lab Automation Conference and our class bonding adventures? Do you remember our mad graduation party? 2 years. It has been 2 years since we assembled here and explored life science in the dynamic 21st century. Do you remember the acronyms that serve as the foundation of our training in the life sciences? IVD, R&D, NPV, PMA, 510K, CRO. Let's review some other key phrases. Focus Track Friday, when industry speakers come to campus to chat about breaking news in the life sciences. Also, when students become wild packs of information-hungry animals, leaving presenters exhausted and sometimes without a lunch. Team Masters Project, a sponsored capstone project at the heart of the MBS program. Also, the most expensive science fair project that most of us will ever accomplish. And the last of all, negative cash flow, not necessarily an indicator of weak performance or the financial strength of a life science company. Also, a disturbing phenomenon seen in a KGI student's personal bank account. 2 years. In 2 years, we have crossed the chasm and waded through the big fields of business, biology, and engineering. We speak the language of leaders who can connect the dots among the functional areas of industry, the business of bioscience, bioprocessing, medical devices and diagnostics, clinical and regulatory affairs, and pharmaceuticals. We wield the know-how to nurture companies that advance life science solutions. Here, projects are long-term, high risk, and do not hit the shelves until at least 1 decade past inception. A new drug, for example, can have a price tag of $1 billion to bring up. Well, we can take care of that. We have an instinct for strategic thinking to lower risk and raise sustainable companies because we appreciate complexity. We understand the key phases of product discovery, development, and distribution. We understand the theory behind good design to fulfill still unmet needs. We collaborate in interdisciplinary teams of bright minds gathered from the far reaches of the earth. And we know we cannot work alone. 2 years. In 2 years, KGI has given us a competitive advantage. We have soared and caught a glimpse of the big picture of life sciences today. In healthcare, for example, we see the pieces, the pharmacists, doctors, and patients, how they interact with bankers, rule makers, and insurers. Everywhere the pieces cross paths lies an opportunity to enable medical solutions, to reach, touch, and save lives. The last class speaker said it well. We have learned to decrease risks while increasing returns, to reduce side effects while increasing efficacy, to decrease cost while increasing innovation. Do you remember why we arrived here? Did you too wish to leverage science and technology to alleviate, if not eradicate, problems in the world today? Problems like human suffering from disease and disorder, problems like the lack of sustainable energies in an age of mass consumption. 2 years. With 2 years now past us, we've assembled at the final stage, degrees in hand. At our individual crossroads, we are ready to depart and begin new ventures. But before we disembark, let us sidetrack to the tales which highlight the rise of our life science industry. 40 years ago, Bob Swanson and Herb Boyer bounced ideas about making human insulin from bacteria. This was the first page of Genentech. 30 years ago, Bill Bowes and George Rathman chatted about making human therapeutic proteins. This was the first page of Amgen. So the tales of today's life science leaders began with an integration of business and technology with a venture capitalist and a scientist at one table. We students arrived here at KGI to follow in their footsteps and become leaders as well. Those tales are 40 and 30 years ago, and the industry has changed since then. 12 years ago, the human genome was sequenced. 2 years ago, the Ventnor Institute built a genomic language from scratch and transplanted it into a mute cell, the cell word, and began to write nucleotides on its own. Today, life science clusters grow alongside social networks as genomic sequencing costs fall and medical records start to move online. The one-size-fits-all paradigm of healthcare is cracking, revealing the potential of digitized and personalized medicine in the area of high technology. It has only been 2 years at KGI since we embarked on this journey together. We have forged a community of friends and family, of professionals and voyagers. Our degrees have prepared us for the long road ahead. So please, remember. Remember the lessons learned from the past and hold them close as we prepare for our futures. Remember to take risks while hedging your bets. Remember to share ideas, repair differences, and leverage fully the strength of those around you. Remember that even when things are good, you cannot stand still. Because even small changes can make things better. If you care to affect change, you can. Remember that we tread in the footsteps of giants. Their names are Genentech and Amgen. Remember to take notice and take care as we carve our own trails forward. In closing, my final words to all the graduates: this is it. I will see you all at the top of tomorrow's global life science companies, consultancies, and agencies, because these are our tales, and it is up to each of you when exactly we will see each other again, whether it is 12, 30, or 40 years from this date forth. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. Cheers, and my utmost congratulations to the class of 2012.
Thank you, Claire. It is now my pleasure to present Kyle Mack, President of the Class of 2012. Kyle graduated from the University of California at Davis in 2008 with a Bachelor of Arts in Microbiology. After his undergraduate studies, Kyle worked for Johnson & Johnson, Affymetrix, and Genentech before coming to KGI in 2010. While at KGI, he was a student body president, serving as the primary liaison between the students, faculty, and administration. Kyle interned at Amgen last summer with the Clinical Supply Chain Group. This year, he was a member of the City of Hope LR90 team, developing commercialization strategies for a novel therapy for diabetic complications. In the fall, Kyle will return to Amgen as a supply chain manager in Thousand Oaks, California. It's my pleasure to introduce Kyle.
Thank you so much, President Schuster. Family and friends, on behalf of this year's student government, it is an honor to welcome all of you to the largest commencement to date. As we reflect on this event, I think all of us can marvel at the strides we made to better ourselves within these last 2 years. Most of us have come in as scientists and are now departing to join an elite group of future leaders in the life science industry. In the spirit of this joyous occasion, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize all members that have made this amazing student experience possible. Firstly, let us recognize the friends and family that are present here or remotely who have supported us in our decision to pursue this route. Your guidance has been valuable in giving us strength to see this program through. So thank you very much. Secondly, let's recognize our KGI faculty and staff for providing the valuable tools to make us successful professionals. The knowledge and programs you have imparted on us have made KGI students a more sought-after asset in the life science industry. Thank you for your contributions. Next, I'd like to recognize the student leaders who have been instrumental in arranging both social and professional activities, which have enriched our campus on a daily basis. Thank you to all student government officials that have been involved this year. Your work has been tremendous. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge our next student body president for the academic year 2012-2013. Andrew Vo, are you in the audience? Nope. But
He's watching.
he is watching, and he's a great pick, and he'll do a fantastic job next year. Lastly, I'd like to thank all my fellow classmates for the opportunity to serve you guys. Through your commitment to KGI, I believe we work to make significant strides in strengthening KGI culture, communication, and community. We've collectively enhanced the student experience and sense of pride here on campus for years to come. So I'd like to conclude with a quote I believe that's very fitting for today. Now, not everybody's a 49ers fan, but Jim Harbaugh does have a saying and leads a post-game chant. So he typically says, "Who's got better than us?" The team responds, "Nobody." And it's Jim Harbaugh's way of showing appreciation for the moment, people, and opportunity. So with that being said, KGI, nobody's got better than us today. Savor this moment, relish it, breathe, take it all in, because cherish it for the rest of your lives. So thank you. I'll lead a post-game chant after graduation. Last but not least, I'd like to have Lauren come on stage for the class gift presentation.
Hi. It was my privilege and pleasure to act as the Legacy Class Gift Chair this year for the MBS graduating class. And we did have 100% participation in the fundraising efforts, so thank you to the class for that. The quote that we will be adding to the alumni patio is one by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it reads, "Do not go where..." I don't want to mess it up. "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." And this quote not only represents our class, but also the class gift that we have presented to KGI, which is a piece of art that is inspired by the values and culture as embodied by our student body and especially our class. What we did is we had a designer, Misaki Koike, use science and business images to represent words such as network, transformation, and collaboration. Collaboration, which is something that we wouldn't have been able to do this piece without. So thank you to the class and those of you that participated in the design process. Also, Mark Salata and Brilliant Singleton were invaluable to the design process when we did this. And so the piece is 3 units that are alone unique, but together come together as one great piece of art. It is in the 517 lecture hall, and it does say KGI from afar, but up close you can see the little pieces that make each part of it unique and the experience here at KGI unique. So, thank you.
Thank you all to the class of 2012 for your very thoughtful gift. And I encourage all of you, after the ceremony, to go into the 517 building and look at these 3 really beautiful pieces of art that really spell out KGI in a very unique and thoughtful way. Thank you. It was an excellent, excellent gift, and we will appreciate it for many years to come. Excuse me. Now we honor a remarkable individual whose achievements and dedication inspire and guide us. He will receive the degree of Doctor of Applied Life Sciences, honoris causa, in recognition of his contributions to Keck Graduate Institute and the field of bioscience. To present the honorary degree recipient, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jim Sterling, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Jim.
By vote of the faculty of Keck Graduate Institute and with approval of the Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to present Jack L. Stark with the degree Doctor of Applied Life Sciences, honoris causa. Jack.
Thank you, Jim. Will Jack Stark please come forward? Allow me for a moment to read the citation. Founding trustee of KGI, past board chair, active trustee for 14 years, and distinguished KGI trustee emeritus. You were an effective champion of KGI in the days when the new venture was only a dream in Claremont. You provided unwavering support for this institution in those early days and were pivotal in securing both KGI's admission to the Claremont Consortium and the founding support of the W.M. Keck Foundation. Having served as president of Claremont McKenna College for 29 years, you brought legendary administrative and diplomatic skills, a long list of contacts, and a wonderful sense of humor, paired with a no-nonsense style, to the KGI boardroom for many years. Your extraordinary devotion to the Claremont colleges continues to promote strong partnerships among our 7 colleges to this day. Therefore, with a pause for the train, today, with great pride, we recognize, thank, and honor you for your dedicated service, foresight, philanthropy, and guiding wisdom. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and with the approval of the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute, I have the pleasure and honor of conferring on you, Jack Stark, the degree of Doctor of Applied Life Sciences, honoris causa, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. In testimony thereof, I am pleased to present to you this distinguished academic hood and diploma. We're gonna see if we can do this. You don't practice this very often. Congratulations. I now ask Dr. Sterling to come back and begin a new tradition at Keck Graduate Institute.
It's with great pleasure that Keck Graduate Institute honors one of its founding faculty members. Dr. James Craig came to KGI in 1999 from the Oregon Graduate Institute. His research primarily focuses on the development and use of yeast, a type of yeast called Pichia pastoris, as a system for the production of recombinant proteins, for which he is internationally known. His work had a major impact on the development of pharmaceutical proteins, such as chimeric monoclonal antibody, which works against rheumatoid arthritis and certain cancers, and human serum albumin, a component of artificial blood plasma, and he holds 14 patents in this area. Jim, thank you for many years of contributing to KGI as a faculty member, and both yours and Jeannie's generous support of KGI mission and vision. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Jim Craig as Professor Emeritus of Keck Graduate Institute.
Yeah, we don't want to forget this.
My turn?
Yes.
It is now my pleasure to welcome our very special commencement speaker, Dr. Tina Nova. Dr. Nova has served as a president and co-founder of Genoptics Incorporated. It is now a Novartis company. Genoptics is focused on developing and commercializing evidence-based diagnostic tests to improve physicians' ability to optimize patient outcomes. Prior to Genoptics, Dr. Nova was a co-founder of Nanogen, a provider of molecular diagnostic tests, where she served as its chief operating officer and president from 1994 to 2000. Dr. Nova served as chief operating officer of Selective Genetics, a targeted therapy biotechnology company from 1992 to 1994, and was in various director-level positions with Ligand Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, a drug discovery and development company from 1988 to 1992. Dr. Nova also had various research and management positions at Hybridtech, and now it was a Lilly company. She also serves on the board of directors of Arena Pharmaceuticals and Adamas Pharmaceuticals Corporation. Dr. Nova is a former chair of the board of directors of Biocom, San Diego Life Sciences Association, representing approximately 500 member companies. An Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year recipient, an Athena Pinnacle Award winner. She also received the Tullis Dickerson & Company CEO of the Year Award, and was a founding member of the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine, promoting stem cell research. In respect to these many accomplishments, Tina also served on the Advisor Council at Keck Graduate Institute and was chair of that distinguished organization. She was also a speaker in our Next Generation Biosciences Leaders, Women Bioscience Leaders. It is my pleasure to welcome Tina and ask you to join me in welcoming.
Thank you so much. Good morning and congratulations. Wow, what a beautiful day. I'm deeply honored to be here, and I want to thank President Schuster, the trustees, trustee chairman, Dr. Robert Curry, you, the students, and the entire Keck organization for this incredible invitation. I'm sorry that you can't say that you had some well-known scientist, Nobel laureate, politician, or rock star as your graduation speaker, but as they say, you get what you pay for. Dear Tina, thank you for agreeing to be our speaker. By the way, there's no honorarium. We'll pay for your gas from San Diego. And we'll cover your minibar charges at the DoubleTree. Guess what? There's no damn minibar. Okay, it's time to get serious. Stand-up comedy, next career. I love my life and my career in the business of bioscience. And I would have never imagined that this is where I would end up, and this would become my path. I grew up in a small town in Central California near Bakersfield called Delano, on a farm. My dad put me on a tractor when I was in my early teens and told me that if I didn't go to college, this is what I would be doing the rest of my life. Oh, did that inspire me? So I left for UC Irvine in my yellow Camaro with 2 large stereo speakers, jeans, a suede fringe vest with beads that I wish I still had for Halloween, and with 3 posters for my dorm room walls. One was of our hometown hero, Cesar Chavez. One was of Joe Namath, and one was of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I was all set. I thought I had everything I needed. I became a science major, mainly because that was a major my parents would financially cover. But after my first day in the lab, I was hooked. The scientific design, running the actual experiment, analyzing the data, deciding which experiment to do next, I knew that I had found my calling. After my bachelor's degree, I decided to work in a lab as a lab tech. And after a couple of years, I decided to give a PhD a shot. Never thought I could do that before. And after my postdoc, I interviewed with a biotech company in San Diego called Hybridtech. Again, I found my calling. I knew where I belonged. The path that you will begin today is only the beginning. Where you will end up, you honestly don't know. And it'll take years to figure that out. And it's the journey that is so incredible and fun. But love and passion for science should always be the underlying driver. I started as a research scientist, then a manager, a director, a vice president, a COO, and finally a CEO over a 20-year span. I wanted to move up. I wanted to do more. I wanted to solve problems, organize teams, run divisions, and finally run a company. Raise money for that company, take it public, stand on Wall Street and watch our ticker go by in Times Square. It's an incredibly exciting time, and it's yours to choose. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, it took me 20 years. Actually, a few more, and I'm lying about my age. Long, hard days, hours and hours of time. BlackBerries, iPhones, telephone calls, emails, faxes, you name it, 24/7. Missing events at my children's school. And why? Because I love what I do, the problems we solve, the products we deliver, the lives we change. The price is not free, but the rewards are incredibly rich. The founding team at Genoptics never imagined we'd end up running a laboratory with 700 employees when we started, with 2 of us in a garage. And it was a garage. Today we serve 1,500 physicians nationwide, working with one of the top pharmaceutical companies in the world, developing new diagnostic tests, introducing new technologies to the marketplace, such as next-gen sequencing, and helping develop companion diagnostics to accompany new drugs. And now that you've graduated and are about to enter the field of health-related business, you too get to choose which direction you will go. At this point in my career, I've chosen to be involved in personalized medicine because I believe this is the direction needed for the ultimate in patient care. As you know, personalized medicine is the tailoring of medical treatment to the individual's characteristics for each patient. The approach relies on new technologies, scientific breakthroughs, in our understanding of how a person's unique molecular and genetic profile makes them susceptible to certain diseases. This same research is increasing our ability to predict which medical treatments will be safe and effective for each patient and which ones will not. Personalized medicine may be considered an extension of traditional approaches to understanding and treating disease. And we are now equipped with sophisticated tools that are more precise, where physicians can select a therapy or treatment protocol based on a patient's molecular profile. That may not only minimize harmful side effects, but may ensure a more successful outcome. It can also help contain cost compared with the traditional trial and error approach to disease treatment that we have been using for so many years. Personalized medicine has the potential to change the way we think about it, identify and manage health problems. It is already having an exciting impact on both clinical research and patient care, and this impact will grow as our understanding and technologies improve. It is an incredible time to be part of this new wave. Personalized medicine is impacting patients in many diseases. For example, in breast cancer, one of the earliest and most common examples of personalized medicine is the drug Herceptin. About 30% of patients with breast cancer have a form that overexpresses a protein called HER2, which is not responsive to standard therapy. Herceptin was approved for patients with HER2-positive tumors in 1998, and further research in 2005 showed that it could reduce reoccurrence by 52% in combination with chemotherapy. This drug is personalized for patients who will mostly respond to it, and we can now test for this response and predict the response prior to giving the drug, and not give this drug to patients where the effect of having this drug could be detrimental. That's an incredible achievement. Although the concept of personalized medicine is considered relatively new, it actually is much older and has been a goal of medicine from the very beginning. Let's start with the Hippocratic Oath, which is often recited by graduating medical students. It's considered one of the founding moral documents of Western medicine. And like many founding documents, its literal interpretation may seem archaic. But the current version of the oath that is widely used today has been greatly sanitized. However, I believe that the core message of the oath remains as relevant today as then. Among other things, it says that the first obligation of a physician, a scientist, or healthcare professional is to be an advocate of the patient's needs and well-being, and that these take precedence over the needs of society, and those involved should never knowingly harm a patient. It also promotes the core values of medical learning and teachings. This I believe to be the basis of personalized medicine and is a goal well worth achieving. It also fits nicely into other core American documents, such as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, distinguishing and championing the rights and values of individuals over those of society. It also favors the cherished institutional models of the academic medical school. Some of these same academic institutions are also currently involved in the debate, trying to rebalance the needs of society over those of patients. This battle is currently being fought in the editorial pages of the New England Journal of Medicine every month. And as always, this balance is in question. An extreme example is useful. During World War II, in concentration camps, the societal rights to gain medical knowledge were held supreme over those of the patient, with disastrous results. And as a result, we have the Nuremberg Code of Ethics giving us moral guidance on the conduct of human experimentation. On a societal level, the concept of free medical education and free healthcare have been variably practiced in other countries, and the outcomes are still debated. Society aside, what can we do as individual related professionals in personalized medicine? I would argue that the Hippocratic Oath still provides useful guidance in the implementation of new technology. Primitive medical knowledge and technology led to some very ineffective personalized approaches early on. Some medical approaches violated the tenets of first do no harm. Europe played major roles in the development of personalized medicine since they were leaders in medical science. Lacking good drugs, they often used mechanical methods. In Vienna, they thought it was progressive to put a policy in place that said you must wash your hands after you do an autopsy and before you deliver a baby. That was a nice personalized touch and was remarkably effective. Similarly, Joseph Leister liberally spraying of phenols on surgical wounds in operating rooms in Scotland and England, which was pretty effective. Personalized medicine took a remarkable step forward with Paul Ehrlich and the concept of the magic bullet, a treatment that could be specific. The not-so-magic bullets were pretty crude in his day. An example was the use of mercury to treat syphilis, which was somewhat effective but highly toxic. Ehrlich advanced the drug serofenamine, an organoarsenic compound, which is often considered the first modern chemotherapeutic agent. The demand for personalized chemistry and medicines led to the rise of the modern pharmaceutical industry out of the highly successful commercial dye and chemical industry. A famous example is Bayer's effort to develop and market miracle pain medicines developed through chemistry, which were launched at the turn of the century. The intent was to develop a non-addictive form of morphine derived by chemical modifications. Of course, there were a few early problems with clinical trials and marketing claims, but the intention was certainly good, and the drug was indeed more potent and effective at pain reduction. Diacetyl morphine was marketed by Bayer in 1898 through 1910 and was marketed as a non-addictive morphine substitute and a cough suppressant. It was also marketed as a cure for morphine addiction before it was discovered that it rapidly metabolized into morphine. What was this new safer drug? It was trademarked as heroin. Another unintentional violation of the first do no harm clause. But the pharmaceutical industry then began to flourish. And in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, there were now a growing number of drugs which significantly changed patients' lives, demonstrated prolonged life while improving its quality, and there was a driving, vibrant industry. They also showed and allowed for very personalized uses. This brings me to more modern times, and a great example was the development of the Novartis drug Gleevec for the treatment of chronic myelogenous leukemia, CML. Gleevec was among the first of a highly targeted, exquisitely specific drug for cancer, which is the holy grail of personalized medicine. In most cases of cancer treatments, we utilize relatively nonspecific toxins, and we hope the cancer cells are relatively more susceptible. That was Ehrlich's basic premise of a magic bullet, though it is much harder to identify a drug that targets just the cancer cells and not the normal cells. CML is a rare leukemia of adults which exhibits a chronic phase that can go on for a number of years. This phase is relatively easy to manage. Untreated, invariably, these patients go into a blast phase which is uniformly fatal. No longer do people die of CML. As of the late 1980s, the only cure was a bone marrow transplant, which is a difficult and dangerous procedure and can lead to other lifelong problems. The thing that made CML unique was the knowledge that, unlike many cancers, it was initially caused by a single gene. And we can look at that gene today. We can look at those mutations. It was driven by the BCR-ABL kinase. A number of compounds had been synthesized by the pharmaceutical company Ciba-Geigy, which inhibited this enzyme. The problem was there was very little interest in this drug initially, since the annual incidence of this disease was only 3,000 patients per year. Nevertheless, a young faculty member at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, Dr. Brian Drucker, had little to offer these patients and realized there was a window of opportunity. Dr. Drucker and his colleagues worked with these compounds in the lab and then convinced Novartis to try it out on patients. In 1998, not that long ago, a retired 60-year-old train conductor in Oregon read an article in the local paper about Dr. Drucker's work. He called Dr. Drucker and volunteered to be a human guinea pig, to be the first person to receive this drug, a person that was not trained in healthcare, in medicine, and in science. So they gave him a small dose and stood by his bedside for the rest of the afternoon, nervously awaiting any signs of toxicity. But by the end of the day, there were no adverse effects. The man was still alive. It was the first time that the molecule had entered a human body, and it could easily have caused havoc. But it didn't. The sense of relief was incredible. Drucker was then able to go on and try the drug in patients with CML, giving them higher and higher doses. And remarkably, blood counts in these patients normalized in just a few weeks of treatments. It was, and still is, a wonder drug, a magic bullet, and it has developed into a highly successful drug, which is now one of the foundations of Novartis' oncology portfolio. Dr. Drucker didn't make a dime off of that drug, but he was driven, and he knew. And this indeed was the very paradigm for modern personalized drug development. Why did Drucker persist to develop this drug? I believe he was guided by the Hippocratic Oath. And let's not forget that train conductor who volunteered himself. Moral of the story? Whether you're a scientist, physician, pharmacist, healthcare executive, drug rep, or working in the business of bioscience, always remember to do what is right for the patient. Because in the end, that's where your decisions ultimately end up. Economics, societal issues, and politics will work themselves out, but the well-being and the value of the individual is priceless and is a place where we can all make a huge difference, as well as providing a highly satisfying career. The future is bright, and technologies and opportunities have never been greater. You've accomplished a lot today, and you should be incredibly proud. Remember to enjoy the journey wherever your career takes you. Be a good person with good morals and ethics. Don't let others disrupt your path to career fulfillment and success. Remember where you came from. That girl from Delano on a tractor, being up here today. Remember where you started. Remember who helped you get there. Help others. Be a team player. Remember why you chose science, not just as a career, but as a life. It is a life. Don't forget your sense of humor, because you're going to need it. And everyone has had their quotes today, and I have a quote by one of my favorite people, Neil Young. Just keep on rocking in the free world, and you'll do just fine. Congratulations, graduate. Thank you so much for inviting me. This was an incredible honor, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
fantastic. Thank you. Really not good. And I will pay for the minibar. Thank you, Tina. That was wonderful. And no, we won't cover the minibar. I now call on Chairman Curry to deliver several resolutions from the Board of Trustees. Bob?
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to award certificates to members of Keck Graduate Institute's Bioscience Management Certificate Program. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present the candidates.
Will the candidates for the Bioscience Management Certificate in Applied Life Sciences please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present the candidates who have successfully completed the requirements for the Bioscience Management Certificate in Applied Life Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby award you the Bioscience Management Certificate in Applied Life Sciences, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Gregory A. Cherry Holmes. Swati Kadam, in absentia. Monica Dagmara Poluski. Karina Vega, in absentia. Lori Susan Zelby, in absentia. Let's congratulate the recipients of the Bioscience Management Certificate.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to award certificates to members of Keck Graduate Institute's post-baccalaureate pre-medical certificate program. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present these candidates.
Will the candidates for the post-baccalaureate pre-medical certificate in Applied Life Sciences please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present the candidates who have successfully completed the requirements for the post-baccalaureate pre-medical certificate in Applied Life Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby award you the post-baccalaureate pre-medical certificate in Applied Life Sciences, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Will the candidates come forward to receive their certificates? Kate Elizabeth Brown. Kathleen Ann Kokia. Jessica Caron Costales. Stacy Marie Crawford. Michael Lamar Garrett Davis. Andrew Charles DiGiorgio. Dennis Duong. Christian Matias Gallardo, in absentia. Nicholas Peter Generalis. Johnny Chong Huang. Jane Sammy Kim. Robert Paul Cratley. Janet Lee. Robert Lee. Danielle Marie McLean. Nishi Gansham Popat. Sarah Nicole Sotelo. Adam Norman Stillman. Amanda Walker. Erin Michelle White. Sally Yang, in absentia. Let's congratulate the recipients of the post-baccalaureate pre-medical certificate.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of Keck Graduate Institute's candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present the candidate.
The candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy is unable to join us today. However, it is with great pleasure that I acknowledge the work of this candidate.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Sri Paladugu.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of Keck Graduate Institute's postdoctoral professional Master's in Bioscience Management class. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present these candidates.
Will the candidates for the degree of postdoctoral professional Master's in Bioscience Management please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present the students who have successfully completed the requirements for the degree of postdoctoral professional Master's in Bioscience Management.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer the degree of postdoctoral professional Master's in Bioscience Management with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Will the candidates come forward to receive their degree and hood? Kevin D. Baker. Thomas Kevin Bain. Mohammed Darimiporan. Ramya Kartikeyan. Sanjay Kumar. Risha Mahesh Patel. Deepika Sringarpur. Sudhir Singh. Brent Wilson. Let's congratulate the graduates receiving the postdoctoral professional master's degree.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of Keck Graduate Institute's 11th Master of Science class, the class of 2012. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present the candidates.
This is the first class, not the 11th, for the Master of Science degree. The candidates are not attending today, so I'll read the names in absentia.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer on you the degree of Master of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
The two candidates are Janice Suk Lee and Andy Viet An Nguyen.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of Keck Graduate Institute's 11th Master of Bioscience class, the class of 2012. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon Jim Sterling, the Dean of Faculty, to present the candidates.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Bioscience please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present the candidates who have successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Bioscience.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer on you the degree of Master of Bioscience, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Will the candidates come forward to receive their degrees and hoods? Adefemi Adenuga. Susan M. Alfs. Matthew Michael Avila. Victor Bhattacharjee. Lauren Breslin. Daniel William Burke. Abhishek Chandiramani. Karthik Chandran. Shalini Chandrasekaran. Jessica Marie Cummings. Milan A. Dalal. Marcus G. DeMaster. C.J. Feng. Pratyusha Ghoshal. Selena Gangavakan. Elizabeth Harvey. James Yoichi Hasegawa. Richard J. Head. Angelica Paula Hernandez Perez. Megan Hill. Stephen K. Shu. Gori Jaju. Abba Kemani. Eric King. Mukunda Krishna. Daniel Lee. Alex Lee. Michael Liebfried. Gloria Lynn. Candace Lowe. Ying Lu. Kyle Mack. Swaroop Malagari. Ryan C. McComb. Joshua Miller. Wendy F. Milling. Chitra Narayan. Mimi M. Nguyen. Abimbola Stephen Onekoro. Durga Lakshmi Ramachandiramani. Manukiran Ravi. Laurette Rivera. Amrit Serene. Darren Shirakata. Rishikesh Thakur. Rudy Tsay. Andrew Takao Urazaki. John L. Weaver. Laura Ann Wilson. Joy Wong. Stephanie Crystal Wong. Claire Zhu. Jared Jacob. Jean Yo. Jeff Young. Let's congratulate the class of 2012 recipients of the Master of Bioscience degree.
Well, congratulations to all of you in the class of 2012. This makes you alumni. What that means you can also do, there's a dispute among academe, there's always a dispute among academe, but there's a dispute among academe about whether you move your tassels in a graduate program, and we've just solved that dispute. Move your tassels. Congratulations. I would like to introduce our alumna speaker, Nicole Cindy, class of 2009. Nicole is currently working as a clinical research associate 2 at Veracyte Incorporated, a molecular diagnostics company addressing emerging opportunities in personalized medicine. She completed the Business of Bioscience and Clinical and Regulatory Affairs focus tracks at KGI and received an award for highest academic performance. Her TMP was with Veracyte, researching the market opportunity for a thyroid diagnostic in Europe, and her summer internship was at the Division of Global Development Operations at Bristol-Myers Squibb. Nicole holds a BS in Biological Chemistry and a BA in Chemistry from the University of Chicago. Today, Nicole welcomes our newest graduates into the KGI alumni family. Please welcome Nicole Cindy.
Thank you, President Schuster. And thank you to all the families and friends for taking the time today to support your own favorite graduate. I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak to all of you briefly. I would also like to congratulate the graduating class on surviving your time here at KGI and welcome you to the Alumni Network. I'm sure you're all familiar with the quote, "It's not what you know, it's who you know that makes the difference." From my experience, who you know gets you in the door, but what you know helps you to advance your career. To illustrate this point, I would like to tell you a little about how KGI's network introduced me to my first manager and how my education I received here has been instrumental in the development of my career. My journey began in college while working on my biochemistry degree. I was under the impression that my only options were to pursue a medical degree or a doctoral program. I took all my required pre-medical courses and had a part-time job in the hospital when I was not attending volleyball practices. During my sophomore year, I received an email from a biology club that I forgot I had signed up for. It said that KGI was coming to give a presentation on the Masters of Bioscience degree. This presentation was going to occur during one of my volleyball practices, so I forwarded it to my coach and told her that I had to attend the meeting because this could be my future career. She, of course, could not say no to that, so I attended the meeting later that week. I was very intrigued by the program. I liked the courses that were offered, was impressed with the caliber of students from the previous classes, and with the school's industry connections. I kept the folder and handouts, but not give the program another thought until the summer before my senior year. By that time, I had decided I wanted to get a master's degree while I was still deciding whether medical school was the right path for me. I was researching Masters of Public Health programs when I remembered the talk I went to back my sophomore year about KGI. I had never really considered a career in the biotechnology industry. However, KGI had such an amazing network of industry leaders that I thought they could help me figure out the right path for me. My first year at KGI, I began to see how important this network actually was. We had several well-known companies attending our industry spotlight days, interviewing our first years for internships, working with students on team master's projects, and other marketing class assignments. I was even lucky enough to receive a scholarship from Bristol Myers Squibb, where I had my internship in the Global Development Operations Department. Then during my second year, I was assigned to the Veracyte Team Masters project and had the opportunity to work with Bonnie Anderson, CEO and co-founder of Veracyte. Our project was researching the European market opportunity for a thyroid diagnostic test. Through this project, I also met my current manager, the Vice President of Clinical Operations, Lissa Friedman, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Rick Lamman. The KGI network helped me to get my job, but the KGI education is what helped me to excel at Veracyte. At KGI, we're taught a little bit of everything. We're trained to work in teams with people with different academic backgrounds. We must learn how to work with people with research, engineering, and even software backgrounds. Through this experience, we're able to become translators in a sense. At Veracyte, I'm able to work cross-functionally with data analysis, IT, and R&D, and report back to my clinical operations team. I'm also able to go out on site visits to train doctors and study coordinators about our clinical protocols and good clinical practices. From what I've seen in my experience so far, this is a fairly unique ability that helps make a person a very valuable team member. In fact, it has become a joke with my coworkers that I speak Paul, Daria, and Rick, members of the IT, data analysis, and medical affairs teams. My story shows how the KGI network of TMP sponsors, board of trustees, advisory council members, and faculty contacts can be indispensable. This network has not only helped me, but has also been invaluable in placing graduates each year. We currently have over 30 alumni working at Amgen, 14 at Genentech, and 8 placed at Regeneron. In addition to the Institute's connections, we also have the alumni network that you can use to your advantage. As each of us enters the workforce, we're representing KGI and the caliber of graduates it produces. Our graduates are constantly expanding our network by joining new companies with no previous ties to KGI. As they excel at their jobs, companies become aware of the strength of KGI's education and seek out more graduates like them. There are many examples of graduates expanding our network, but one of the most compelling stories is how our relationship with Baxter has grown. Back in 2007, Baxter hired their first KGI graduate. Our alum excelled at his job and caught the attention of Baxter's hiring managers and human resources team. The following years, Baxter has returned to KGI's Industry Spotlight Day each year with the intention of hiring as many KGI graduates as possible. Today, Baxter employs over 10 KGI alumni. I urge you to keep in contact with your fellow graduates, previous managers, and other connections you have made during your time here at KGI. You never know when one of your contacts will introduce you to your new manager. I would also like to advise you to become involved with the Alumni Board as a chair, a committee member, or even by attending one of our networking events, which are great opportunities to meet fellow alumni, catch up with old classmates, and make new contacts in the biotechnology industry. There's also free wine and food for those of you that need a little extra incentive. If there is one piece of advice that I can impart on you today, it's the importance of both what you know and who you know. Never stop learning and never stop expanding your network. Congratulations again, and welcome to the Alumni Network.
Thank you, Nicole. And now I'd like to do something that, again, we start traditions every year here at KGI, and we've never yet had a Volunteer of the Year award from our alumnus, and this year we're going to do that. Darren, come on up. Many of you know Darren Leva. You're surprised. Come on, let me just read the citation. Darren was part of the 4th graduating class from KGI in 2005, following a BS in microbiology from Oregon State University. Located in the San Francisco Bay Area, Darren's career has involved numerous small to mid-sized biopharmaceutical companies, including Argonox Pharmaceuticals, PDL Biopharma, Cimarron Pharmaceuticals, and Althea Technologies. Most recently, Darren was the Associate Director of Business Development at Althea, where he was overseeing half of the company's revenue and half of the sales team. Darren just announced his resignation from Althea, where he is leaving to pursue new startup endeavors. Darren was the founding president of the Alumni Board, remains an active participant as a board member, and was a strong force in building the entire alumni network. It's a pleasure to award you this. Thank you. I realize, of course, I'm what's standing between all of you and celebration. That's a dangerous position. But I am here on behalf of the faculty, staff, board of trustees, advisory council, and alumni to give again our hearty congratulations and confident best wishes for your future. I'm also here to encourage you to embrace the tools, skills, knowledge, and friends that you have helped develop and nurture here at KGI. We are committed to hands-on, team-based learning at the intersection of business and science in the life sciences. It is one of the distinguishing features of our institution that we not only helped you learn the skills necessary to succeed, but we provided the context. When you were assigned projects, they were not about how to make a business success from mining gold or silver from the ground, but how to mine databases of information about our genetics and health. When you did your TMPs, you didn't solve the problem of how to develop processes to lower the cost of baubles or trinkets. You worked tirelessly, for example, to understand how to make biopharmaceuticals of the quality and quantity that would maximize the opportunity to commercialize life-saving therapies. But broaden the context now much further. Your professional careers will likely span the next 4 decades. I have no idea what scientific advances and opportunities will be presented. I am only certain that they would be considered today to justify the use of that highly overused adjective, amazing. But you will also face a world with 9 billion people, perilous problems and challenges. There are already serious breaks in the social contract that enable war and famine and environmental degradation. Relationships between peoples have been broken by misunderstanding and intolerance, and a failure to forgive in far too many places. We are becoming broken by separations between the young and the old, and the needy and the wealthy. But you have the tools to make a difference, and I ask you to remember the lessons from your teachers who sit behind me this afternoon. Above all else, you must never forget that it is the science, and more specifically the methods of science, that makes your knowledge and insights powerful and relevant. And it is a science that requires work in the teams. I quote from Dr. Ismail Serajaldin, who was the founding director of the New Library of Alexandria, Egypt, and winner of the 2011 National Academy of Sciences Public Welfare Medal. He has played a crucial role in reminding the young people of the Arab Spring about their proud scientific heritage. Dr. Serajaldin says, "The enterprise of science requires the adoption of certain values: truth, honor, teamwork, constructive subversiveness, engagement with the other, freedom, imagination, and a method for the arbitration of disputes. The values of science are adhered to by its practitioners with a rigor that shames other professions." And it is the teamwork that underpins the science that will enable you to fix a world that has so many broken parts. The concept of fixing a broken world, or tikkun olam in the Jewish tradition, is addressed in the words of an author of popular fiction, David Levithan, who in his book, and which became a movie, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, says, maybe, and I didn't see it, maybe it isn't that we're supposed to find the pieces and put them back together. Maybe we're the pieces. Maybe what we're supposed to do is come together. That's how we stop the breaking. I don't know the answers, but I have every confidence that you can heal what is broken. You have the tools and values of science to contribute. Hold tightly onto them, and they will enable you to succeed in achieving the vision that we all hold for your future. As Dr. Sarah Jaldine toasts, to our youth, I say, you have been called the children of the internet or the Facebook generation, but you are much more. You are the vanguard of the great global revolution of the 21st century. So embrace the values of science and go forth into the journey of your lives to create a better world for yourselves and others. Think of the unborn, remember the forgotten, give hope to the forlorn, include the excluded, reach out to the unreached, and by your actions and from this day onward, lay the foundation for better tomorrows. It is now with all our hope, enthusiasm, and fond best wishes that I ask everyone as a community to join me in one final round of congratulations to the KGI class of 2012.